Play with my eyes closed from now on.
So what
Ray Charles had it easy. Sorry.
He wasn't actually blind. That was just his shtick.
You just didn't want to engage with the crowd.
Right.
There we go. And we got the thing we're going to put at the beginning of the episode.
It's what we're doing. Come and check it out. It's what we're all about. 561 Music.
Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
And how are you doing, Hector?
Exhausted.
Yeah,
I'm pretty tired.
So, you had that super hectic weekend, didn't you?
Did, man. We had a show on Thursday night, and then a show on Friday night, and then a show on Saturday night, and then I was street painting or setting up for street painting Friday all day, and then street painting Saturday all day, and then street painting Sunday all day. So yeah, I was ready to die by Monday.
Yeah, I believe it.
I think we had calculated, my friends were, like every day it was like a joke, like, how many hours of sleep did you get last night? And I think we calculated that come Sunday night when I went to bed, I had collectively about 9 hours of sleep from Wednesday.
Yeah,
so I was dead.
That sounds about right, man. And
you
were in good form though. Like when you were playing the shows, you were in a good mood. Like I could tell you were just kind of on a mission or a warpath.
Yeah,
you were like, I will get to the end of the weekend.
I will get to the end of the weekend, and sleep will happen Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
It was fine.
But you were being so chill though. We had some good gigs actually.
I did. We had some fun, man.
We had
some fun.
And it's so nice to see all your friends too.
Yeah.
They're total
Well, that's the thing. I tell Kelly all the time. Like I have a ton of friends. Almost none of them live here. They're all, all my art friends from all the festivals
that I used to
when I used to go around, right? And I have way more friends than you. But I just don't, I have a handful of friends locally, but that's it. Like most of my friends live all over the country, actually all over the world for that matter. Just all my art friends. And so it's nice I don't do the festivals as much as I used to because of Killbillies. I used to travel a lot doing the festivals. And I don't do it that often anymore because we're so busy. So, the handful of 2 or 3 times that I do a festival a year now, it's nice to see all my friends and stuff and hang out. So,
absolutely. And I know them, a few of them, like a little bit now, and they're so good spirited and they're artists. So, they appreciate art forms. And so they come out to watch the music and they're always in a good mood because they're away from home and they're ready for a party.
Yeah. And I brought James out there with me and stuff. And he was like,
so jealous.
I know you should be jealous because it was fun.
Yeah,
James was out there, man. He was cracking me up the whole weekend.
He's a good lad.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Fun. So but I have one of my best buds from England, Ollie, staying. And I would have been out there with you, but I was doing some entertaining. We had a good time too ourselves, but I do love that chalk painting, man.
Oh, dude, it was fun.
Yeah, it's always an absolute blast. And you guys did a great job. You did like 3 pieces, right?
Yeah. Well, I did like a small postcard piece thing, and then that was the Friday thing, and then we sketched out Friday night before we went to the gig. We sketched out the big wall piece that I did with the chalks and stuff, the 3D chalks, and then with the logo and everything. And then we came back super early on Saturday morning and we painted that piece. And then about midday, like noon, we went over to our regular spot, and then that's when we started the big 3D piece on the ground.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was a busy ass weekend.
And this weekend, I debuted the guitar that I got off Mick, which is this. And the fun thing about it is it says Impeach Bush on it. Which is not only really awesome and funny, but like vintage politics.
Right. Vintage
it's like
politics.
Classic vintage politics. But yeah, so this is.
I love that you kept that on there too.
I know. I can't take it off, and it's roughly in my political wheelhouse. So I'm
right.
Good. Yeah. So this is an old Martin that Mick had, and he'd just beaten it to all hell. I mean, not in a bad way, just used it a lot. And but he had ended up cracking the headstock, and so I took it to Mike Paparo, who I'd never had Mike do anything with my guitars or anything before, but so this is the first time really meeting him properly. We'd crossed paths a little bit before then, but the guy is so good, and he's such a nice guy.
He's such a good guy. He's a really nice guy. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be like Ed. I'm gonna be looking for reasons to take my guitars to him.
Right.
I think this has a chip.
I actually got to get some stuff done to that Rickenbacker, man. So I think I need to get it over there sooner rather than later so I can bring it up to that New York show. So
yeah, totally. I think that he doesn't work on banjos. So James is gonna be missing out on that one. He's a bit gutted about it.
James has plenty of bases. He can take a bass over there.
Yeah, there you go. But he's a legend, and if anyone needs guitar working on, you go to Paparo Music because he is a boss.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
boss.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, this thing plays like a dream now.
Oh, sounds amazing.
And the thing is, if I was gonna get a a $2,000-$3,000 Martin, it would obviously be cool, but it would last 5 seconds. This thing is done all of the warping it's ever going to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? So at this point, it's just staying put, which is great because we play so much. There's no point in me having some kind of beautiful museum piece.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. It sounded great. Great this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So we have Hunter Hutchings and guest of honor Franco Jaramillo. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's good.
Feeling
Thanks
great,
for having us
man.
here, man.
Glad to be back.
Yeah. So
Again.
for the uninitiated, Franco is one of the owners of Propaganda.
Yes.
And could you tell us a little bit about when you took that place over? How
Yeah,
long's it
sure.
been?
So this April 30th will be going on our 2-year anniversary as the
Nice.
new owners of Propaganda, which will make it its 15th year in existence. So
Yeah.
hitting a milestone there. Last owners, everybody knows, Manny Two Belts and John Jay, owners operators for about 10 years. And,
Yeah.
we're making it work and doing them proud. Best we can.
Hell yeah. I remember before Matt, it was Cecil and
There's Bobby Love.
Yeah.
There's Bobby Love and Cecil. And then, if I get the names correctly, the original people that opened up was, I believe, Workins, Roman, who was doing a lot of the bookings. And for my memory lapse, the artist that created the name and originally had all of the propaganda posters with Stalin and like Lenin saying drink and whatever.
Yeah.
I know his first name was Christian. That's all I remember.
Oh, cool.
Isn't Cecil a teacher or something?
Cecil is a teacher now.
He was
yeah.
one of Gavin's teachers.
Well,
in high
Roman
school.
was Roman was the booking for them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I remember working with Steve there way back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
Do you
Roman's
remember
legend.
Cecil's band that you had back in the day? They were called something like Black. They were like one of those swamp punk bands. I remembered the name like a couple of episodes ago. That's really Black Weather Shaman. Remember them?
No, that was a little bit before me.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Into that scene.
Yeah, that was when I just moved down here, and I met Cecil when I was playing. So I was playing in Propaganda before Matt, and then Matt took over, and then I had the good fortune to end up playing in a band with Matt. So the door was swinging wide open.
I
after
always
that.
got the good slots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it didn't go unnoticed. There was definitely mutterings behind our back.
I noticed you all got the prime slots. For them. Like, damn, they must know a guy.
But so yeah, I know that place inside and out. I've spent many years there, and I have to say, it is in very good hands.
It is.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's a passion project for us and a labor of love, and just again carrying on tradition it's been great. I mean, it's like very rewarding to see it evolve for the best that we can. Visualize how it's going to grow up or whatever. I think that like the reception from the loyalists and the people who really appreciate it, they support us. So I think that's important. And obviously the goal is just really to capture a new audience and expand our reach within the world of music.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's with good reason that a lot of us will call it the Palm Beach County CBGBs.
Yeah.
It's like it's what it is. It's what we've got for punk and interesting sort of smaller crowd music and local bands, but then also awesome touring bands. It's our version of that, and I think we all hold it very dearly in our hearts because there's really not that many places around here.
That's true. I think, COVID did a good job of wiping out a lot of the venues that, pre-existed and,
It tried to get prop. It's
Yeah,
like-
it did.
we're all worried
But
about
they worked through it and powered on. So props to prop.
Totally.
Yeah, but that was the thing too. Is like once it was changing ownership and things too, you're like, oh God, who's the new guy coming in? Like, what's going to happen to the place that was always called our home away from home?
It felt a little weird for me because when it first happened, because it was like, well, firstly, one of my best friends is like moving across the country,
And bandmate.
and and then this place that I'm so used to sort of walking into it, and he owns it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, how's it going to go? But yeah, I mean, it looks so great, and everyone is just
turned out awesome too.
as far,
I can't say enough things about Franco, but it was a good turn of the passing of the torch. Like first thing I came in there, like judging him, like, who's this new guy? Well, we became best friends within 5 minutes. And he's the coolest guy in the world.
I think that was the best part of it. Is just that no one knew who we were, and just coming in, and a lot of the mutterings was like, "Oh my god!"
And the friends made an easy transition.
Too much, and then a lot of those people who are muttering, like, "Okay, these people are actually nice," and Matt did a good job, like choosing the.
I walk in there on the off nights, and all the regulars are still there hanging out with Franco now, and I'm just like, "Oh boy, you found yourself a new home, didn't you, buddy?"
Well, things like that, I really trust Matt, and because he had said to me, he's like, "Don't worry, but it's in good hands," and so I wasn't really that worried about it, because certain things like that, the things he cares about with like business stuff, Matt is on point,
wouldn't turn it over to the wrong one. So.
No.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there was several names in the hat, and then we came and just kind of just like
so how did that
talked
happen?
about it. Yeah, so oddly enough, like most things, due to a drunken conversation, we're back from New York. We were in New York for about 16 years. Both myself and my wife Natalie lived in Palm Beach. I was in. We both were in Boca, and used to back in like 2002 frequent all of the spots then, and that's where I met Matt. And became really close friends with him immediately. Just like really great guy.
Oh, sick.
Showed me the ropes, and then 2005 moved on and came back, and just things kind of just naturally progressed. Came back, started visiting Propaganda, seeing Matt, and like kind of picking up where we left off.
Nice.
And I think just kind of heard through just like the whispers, like, "Oh, I heard Prop's going to close down." I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, I just got back. Like, I want to enjoy some of this now.
Yeah.
And then just like. That turned into, "Hey Matt, I heard that like this might shut down," and whatever. It's like, yeah.
And then
it was just kind of like, all right, so what do we have to do to make that not happen? He said, "Well, you can buy it," and then that just turned into a few drinks later, and like we're in, and here we are.
Have you done much of this kind of thing before?
Absolutely not. So this would be our first business, but living in New York, we had friends that owned bars in Brooklyn, and just always kind of were supporters of the local establishments there, and frequented what would be considered our neighborhood locals, which were owned by friends. And so I think a lot of it was always on the other side of the bar as patrons. And then during COVID, I think a lot of us getting involved because of downsize of employers was like, we are able to sell now, but we can't provide for our employees. Can you guys help? So we kind of just jumped into that and helped what we could. So
during COVID, you found yourself on the other side of the bar just out of necessity.
Pretty much. Yeah. And it was just like, all right, work to help this bar stay open and drink for free. Cool. And then gain some experience about being on the other side of the bar. So that kind of just travels with us here.
Yeah. And the fact that that was the kind of thing you were willing to do for other people and to help their businesses like that speaks a lot to the way that you view this place as well, which is it's a community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the most pure statement of Prop. Is that it's communal. It's just like this community of musicians and music fans that just love the band so much, and they're going to do everything they can to champion them. And I think that's like what is the ethos of Prop. It makes it so great. It's that it's a big community. And it's
fantastic. I've heard a night off. I'd rather go there to watch like a band do some originals and stuff like that.
I've heard from other musicians and stuff. When Matt in the place, I've heard from musicians. That Matt and John own Prop, but it kind of belonged to all of us as musicians. And it's probably in the same, kind of the same thing for you guys. You guys own Prop, but it kind of belongs to all of us.
That's right. Yeah, and I think that's what Ben was talking about earlier, is that's kind of like the Palm Beach CBGBs, because it does have that spirit, of just musicians first and
it's just a
community. So, it's just a fantastic
and I really
thing.
felt it. I mean, I feel it every time I come there and there's a good show on, but I really felt it at Christmas because we had Billy Doon playing, but then we were also playing with and Matt came back, and it was just like it felt like all of the older sort of crew of homies and all the new homies, everyone was there.
And it was homecoming
it was
for sure.
Great. Yeah. It was big roster with Spread, Young Cassidy, Billy. We had you guys. It was a magical night. Like it was great. Yeah,
totally. And Suicide Bombers were playing, and that was the night
right.
that my eyes were open to how awesome they are.
Yeah, Sean's fantastic. I love watching him play.
Yeah, that's the one thing about that spot too, is you can always walk in there and find somebody you've never heard.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the
that's
bills
definitely
and
the
stuff they
biggest
build.
treat of taking it over. It's just like having front row seats now. Like all the bands that want to play there, they approach us and like, hey, we'd love to play your venue, and then just sussing them out and just seeing if it's a fit and putting a show around it. I think that's like the fun part, and then it happens, and there's just energy and love, and it's
and you guys
it's great.
got all levels too. Like I've walked into Prop on a Sunday and seen you guys there doing, first timers. It's the first time they've ever been on a stage, first time they've gotten the experience to play into a crowd. But then you can also walk in there on a weekend night and you see people that have been playing the stage for 20 years, or a national that's on it for their first time with a packed crowd. And it's just like, you never know what you're going to get, but it's where you can start and it's where you can finish,
Yeah. And or pass through. And that's something I'm also interested in asking you about is, as someone who hadn't really done it before, what's the process been like of learning how to book for the place?
Well, I mean, it was very novice at first. It was like, all right, like how do we get bands to play here? And obviously we're handed the keys to just the general communications, whether it was social through Instagram, Facebook, or it was just an email.
There being like, Franco, you gotta book them.
Or it was Hunter. Yeah. Just so everyone knows, Hunter's the unofficial advisor to me. So anything that he sees
Franco,
me not
club
doing right, he's
them,
just
buddy.
like, hey man, we need to talk. Let me tell you some stuff, and then that's how we work. But yeah, it was really that there was these three, hidden doors, just people just continually banging on, and then we came in, and during the pre-handoff, I think that it was just a lot for a small team to do, particularly Matt. It's only one guy, and it's like, how do you keep up with all of this demand of I want to play there? So it wasn't easy for us either. Just between myself and Natalie, it was just like going back about like 4 years of just communications of like people like, hey man, how do we play there? And then just reaching out and it's like, are you guys so active? Like,
they didn't leave you with a Rolodex or anything or a little black book.
That would have made things too easy, right? And then we would, we'd have all the same bands.
Rolodex, man.
That was part of it.
Old school.
Was just like digging in, and just going through a lot of communications and just reaching out, and it being this two-way avenue of communication. Like, they want to play here. We want to see what they have and make sure that it's like prop ready. Yeah. Because there's just.
Could you tell me a little bit? Could you speak a little bit to what you require when it comes to what does prop ready mean? Because there's a lot of people who listen to this and find that interesting.
Yeah.
They redid the bathrooms.
Yeah, we did redo the bathrooms. That was huge. I think prop ready, I mean, is honestly, it's just like that confidence, like coming to the stage, having a tight set, and it, just being like stage ready, right? I think, I think there's one thing. And how do you discern in a rehearsal room and like practicing and having fun and drinking beers, and you think you're the greatest thing on earth,
sure.
And then having someone be subjective and like, hey, can you listen to our music? And here are some links, and we listen to it. And I don't want to be like a harsh critic, but at the same time,
you gotta have some discernment.
Yeah, we have to like have, we just have to have a standard of like that people. Yeah.
And how do you, when you see this stuff, what is it exactly that, like, so you're looking for like a tight band and stage presence. So, is it you're looking at live footage and you just kind of have to try and figure out from that like what the energy is, basically?
That's kind of it. I mean, some of it might be Spotify links or Bandcamp or videos, and like I think honestly, you hear it. Like as a musician, you guys, when you hear something, and me, a person who has been listening to music since I was like 3 or 4, just growing up listening to multiple genres of music, you just have like this checklist, and like when you hear something, you're like, holy shit, that's it, that's something, and like you just like rally on it, and you're like, this is awesome. How do I get this? So
is it hard?
It's that excitement. Is just like a music listener of like when you're just feeling something for the first time, and you're like, I need more of that. So.
Yeah. Would you say that it's important that the stuff that comes through looks professional, or is it more just that it looks exciting?
No, I mean, that's tough, right? Because again, it's like super subjective, and it's really about like the sound projection. And if it sounds amazing, I don't give a shit what you look like. But there are, particular acts that really put together. They have the look, they have the stage moves, and I think that's definitely entertaining and it holds value. If it is something that you're trying to like evolve. And I think that's like every probably musician that, I mean, I have grown up watching, and just like that stage presence and energy and just kind of choreography of like their movements is like means something, right? It's like, it's kind of like subliminal, but when you see it, it like pulls you in. And, you know, it's this different than somebody, or, you know, sounding amazing, but everyone's just kind of just standing there, just like doing this thing, right? It's like, all right, we're a bar and we're a venue, and like that maybe could just be bar music that sounds rad as fuck, but it's different than like you're sipping your pint and you're drinking, you're listening, and then you see something and you're like, oh shit, and it pulls you in, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna get off my chair and now go stand in front of the stage and watch this, because 100% something's happening.
And it's something that drives me nuts in Killbillies, because we're chained to our drums, we can't move. But, so we're slowly trying to persuade Hector to do more with his bass.
They're trying to convince me to put a wheel on the peg in the rack and run around the room with my bass. Put a wireless on it and run around with the bass. I'm not opposed to it, and I think it's on the table.
We had the idea when we were watching Zeta, and he walked around the room like doing that prayer thing last week at Prop. We were like, Hector could do it with a wheel on his bass.
Well, that's what Everyman used to do, the stand-up bass, where they do the limbo underneath the stand-up bass for Everyman. And they used to whack each other.
I mean, and it's interesting. It's interesting that you bring that, you know, into focus, because I mean, what the Killbillies do is it's great in itself, right? It's like it's style, and if this band was playing, I don't know, like in the 30s, it'd be exactly what you're doing. Just three guys sitting there, just like in a tight room, right? Just like there's no room to move, so you're just like doing your thing. So I mean, it works. So
we're trying to figure out. Like, we're playing Sunfest on May 4th, and I'm sitting there in my head. I'm like, well, these guys are tethered to drums, and this is a huge stage. It's the big Forge stage, where it's a huge stage. I'm like, I got to figure out something to do to like move around and like.
We need to get a bunch of those things.
Love them, the little wavy guys. That would be amazing.
I know. So it's, you know, to a certain extent with that thing, because it just is a nature of what we do. We just kind of have to own it, but you know, and just be like, well, this is what we do, and not be nervous about it. But you know, we could definitely
set the bass on fire.
Hector's been working on some moves. He's been twirling his bass and stuff.
I've
He's
seen
got a
it.
few
Nice.
Riding it up to space.
It's in a video now. I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. So that the reason I asked about like what do you look for in a band is because, well, I know what I would look for, but then when I think of like, you know, what you typically receive, well, when you think of what I would give as a musician, you know, so I'd send the Spotify links and I'd send all that, and then I'd send some kind of live video. But I suppose what you really want from the live video is to show that the crowd care that what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like some kind of energy.
And that's definitely like a part of the salesmanship aspect, right? But not everyone has that advantage of playing to a full room. They could still be amazing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you look at the live performance side of it, and what you actually listen to the music and take time, versus most venue owners would take a look at the followers, their engagements and stuff. And people, you know, people book off numbers, versus it's really cool that you give people a chance that might not have the numbers, but you know they're going to bring it their all. So people are going to be like, even if they didn't know you, they're going to be like, damn, I'm never going to forget that. You know?
Like, not to say that we don't pay attention to those details, but again, I really just think that it's just deserving where you see the heart behind the music, and you see the drive, and you're just like, all right, these people deserve a shot. And I think that's, again, kind of like why I want to believe Prop stands for. It's like giving people a shot and like giving them their turn, you know? So, and we'll take a chance on it. I mean, it hasn't always worked out, but I think, you know, it's true. It hasn't always worked out, but, you know, a lot of it is you just learn as you go along. You can't book, you know, 4 unknown bands from Miami, you know, one night, because Miami doesn't like to come up north. So it's like a bus for them. You want them to have an audience. So I think just the learning part is like, all right, well, how do we couple one of these bands and create some cohesion with local, and like make that work and cross-pollinate like these communities and just getting them, you know, to build that network, extend their own networks.
And stuff like that.
Talking of that side of things, that Noel is very good at that, is about figuring out how to get a bunch of people in a room. You know what I mean?
The Mola shows are great, but like he brought things from all different sides of music too. Like had you guys opening up for a hip hop dude, and but it worked out.
Yeah,
you know?
it worked
It's really
great.
cool to mix it and see how everybody's going to blend together. And
We
see if
listened
everyone's
to it
gonna
and we
stick
were
around.
like, really? Oh, that's what was the point? Okay, let's go. We not like that we wouldn't do it, but we were like, oh no, this is going to go. No,
Yeah.
it's okay, you know.
It was good.
No, it was awesome. I
Yeah.
think again, just that there was kind of this chance taken on different genres that we felt could meld, particularly because Jesse, has that kind of hip hop, like folky kind of punk, style to him, and so you guys like folky, and then we're like, all right, rap, like let's just bring some new person
It's
from
cool
the
to see how
community.
you build a bill of so many different genres and make it all flow so well, kind of like your guys' festival and stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess just as long as there's a little bit of punk in everything, they can all go together. You know what I
Finding
mean?
one common
Look,
ground.
if there's a
man.
little bit of punk in everything, we're gonna be good. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, do you find it hard, like when you are like vetting these bands and stuff, and you're trying to figure it out, like, you know that you're looking for that it factor. You're trying to find these bands that are gonna do well, and that people are gonna enjoy, and that the bands can get a shot and stuff. But do you ever find yourself like looking at a band and maybe they are a great band, but maybe it's not necessarily a genre you enjoy or something like that, and then you're like,
Yeah, it's interesting. To
Is it
bring
hard?
that-
Is it hard to
Well,
like
it's
to,
interesting
like
that
keep
you bring
those
that up.
separate? You know?
Yeah,
Like having
yeah.
a record label or something like that.
I
You got to do with
think,
that.
being a music venue doesn't make you specific to any particular genre. You
Yeah.
have to expand just the realms of music, and prop being very metal and very punk-ish. With alt, we've brought in more goth, more alternative, more indie. We have a country show coming up.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we really, really want to push the limits here and try to get people music that they're going to enjoy. So,
That's cool. It's interesting you have a country show coming up.
yeah, and I don't know if it's ever been done, but I really feel that there is a niche for like Western and country, and Mick,
Yeah.
Rude
we
is a
on
part
that
of
one?
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, so, we haven't asked it, but yeah, like I know Mick, is huge as well, like fan of Western and Americana and like country, and so it's like I feel like there's a request for it, just he hasn't really been heard. So and maybe certain places,
It depends on the
places are doing
country
it.
too. Like it like a lot of it's going back to its roots.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just how all things. And once it evolves to a certain scale, people are like, we kind of lost our way.
Yeah.
So there's a huge rise, and myself in particular. Like I always listen to you grew up on the blues, you grew up on roots reggae and ska and stuff like that. You go back to the roots of country, and you're like, this stuff's really good. It came from the blues, and it's really cool shit. And now there's a whole lot of indie artists and a whole scene behind it now.
Yeah.
And it's not being seen by CMT and all that stuff. But,
Yeah,
like,
100%. Like
No,
there's
it's
an
coming
underground.
back.
There's an underground out there, and there's like the surface just needs to be scratched. And like again, I think that there are just a lot of musicians out there that are just they're trying to get their foot in the door.
Yeah,
so
but if it's a
who's
Jason
gonna do
Aldean
it?
cover band that's playing, I'm not coming, Franco.
There's
Don't
been
care
that,
what small town you're from.
there's been that side to 10, 15 years ago, there were quite a lot of like kind of folk punk
Yeah,
American guys, but really it was country.
Yeah,
It's been there.
rooted from the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I was always into that. Do you remember that there's a guy, Luke Pennell? He was the original bass player in Killbillies, and he was a wonderful singer. And it was called it sort of like acoustic punk or whatever, but it was country.
Yeah.
It was great. And and I what you're saying with the roots thing as well, I can totally relate to that. That's why I tried to do that new Scar project as rootsy as possible.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it just kind of that's all where the good stuff is.
Absolutely.
The beginning.
that's it.
Going back to basics.
The origins.
Well done,
for
sir.
sure.
Well done.
So where do you see what do you see in the future for Prop? Have you got any sort of ideas of how you want to
Jazz, opera.
Yeah, what you want to do. Now,
Well, I did mention
I
it.
fully
Yeah.
appreciate that. There's a certain side of it that it is what it is, and it's exactly what it wants to be and needs to be.
Yep.
But do you have any sort of thoughts on ways it might change?
I just think aesthetically, like everything else, you have to change. I mean, we all have to change our clothes every day, right? Prop is just itself, and it's been itself for like 10 years, the last 2 years, we've made slight adjustments to make
the
it more
bathroom
comfortable.
works.
Yeah, the bathroom works.
Yeah.
The bathroom is no longer CBGB-esque.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's functional and clean.
That's a big change.
So things like that. I think what's important for a venue is comfort and just making sure that people who otherwise wouldn't enter the door can come in and go, all right, it isn't as scary as I thought it was. Right? It's not a strip joint. I thought this was a strip joint,
100%,
right?
dude.
Yeah.
I think that's wise as well, because there's definitely places you go and you just don't know where to sit. You don't know, you go to the bathroom because you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and that's gross. And then, you end up kind of going outside or sitting in your car or something. But prop doesn't feel like that,
No,
it's
I hope not. I really hope not. I think that, it does its best to just be as welcoming as possible and just welcome any walk of life, really.
For sure. Like when they started playing the show the other night, like I was out on the sidewalk at first and a bunch of people were leaving the older people's bar.
Yeah.
And they started they heard them playing and they're like, oh man, we got to go see this. This
The
sounds
older
great.
person bought you Rudy's.
Yeah. No problem. And then they walk over, run inside, and they hang out for the whole set, and they start liking this place. I'm like, what's this all about?
For
I'm
sure.
Like, oh, they got live music going on.
For
Like,
sure.
oh,
And
God.
I think that, it's helpful, too, to just, maintain a clean room so that way they're just less threatened.
Anybody walking down the
right?
street would love to go
Like, all
there
right,
now.
these are actually nice, wholesome young people.
Yeah.
Who would you say?
I was like, maybe take down more, the propaganda Eagles. When I first came in there. I was like, yeah, you took my word. You took that one.
Yeah. I honestly, it's true. I mean, I had it in the back of my mind too. I didn't really feel that propaganda was the logo. I don't think that it is. The name already exists on the facade.
But you should see what he
so
put up
I
on the wall now, though.
Right. That's
There's a lot of good artwork
Yeah,
out there.
beautiful artwork.
I'm just saying.
Jordan Davidson really, really came through. Just a plethora of
Good artwork.
good visual stimulation.
By Bjorn.
Yeah.
Bjorn is hysterical, man. What,
He's
what a
amazing.
guy. He's a
He's the
one in a
dude.
million, that guy. So, in terms of people you've had play there, is there anyone that really, really sticks out in terms of super exciting show or an incredible get? Or anything
Aside
like
from
that?
Killbillies, of course.
Yeah, all right, you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to start there. I think we've had some good nationals in there so far. We were really thrilled to pull in the Jacuzzi Boys last summer because we're
That
big
was my
fans.
favorite. That was on my
We're in
birthday.
New York.
I was like, Franco, you got Jacuzzi Boys my
Yeah.
birthday?
Yeah.
You listen to me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I even told them, hey, you can't start playing until Hunter gets here.
I had to hold the show because I was
How's
playing
that?
at Matthews. I'm
You
like,
don't
Franco,
worry
don't
about
let the
that.
show start until I
Oh,
get
wow.
there.
There you go.
Yeah,
He
see?
did it.
Told you.
Legend.
There's rewards to just working together.
Sound, but they're gonna blame it
But
on
yeah,
me.
the Jacuzzi Boys, obviously Surfer Blood, who is West Palm
Yeah.
Beach,
Yeah.
and
I love those
these were
guys.
bands when I was in New York, and this wasn't down here experience, and as they were coming up, and then they just kind of broke through the ceiling, and they were in New York, and they were playing New York.
Sure.
Just venues that I like to go to. So just coming down here and making that happen. As of recently, just having Cheshi and the co-defendants there was pretty mega
Wild,
for
yeah.
prop. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
totally.
a huge milestone for us as the new owners to have such a big act in there, and then there was just mega, and this is
Yeah, the
so
energy
awesome.
was
The
wild
energy was
from that
wicked.
show.
Yeah.
So what's the
I videoed
situation
most of it.
with co-defendants and Fat Mike and how he fits into the whole?
So it's a bit of a super. So Fat Records has Get Dead on that.
Yeah.
So Sam from Get Dead is part of the co-defendants, and
Right.
then there's Cheshi, who is part of the scene around there and stuff too. And he was a good singer-songwriter on his own kind of thing, but he was known for his hip hop, and then is also folky acoustic and stuff writing.
Yeah.
Fat Mike has produced their whole album, got them together,
Okay.
mixed with some other special hip hop artists, like DOC was on it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Sick.
it was all done on Fat Records, and they played the last Punk and Drublick and all that.
Okay.
So I got to see them in Orlando, and they were on the
Ah,
bill,
sick.
and they
Okay.
played with Zeta on that bill too,
Really?
backing them. So that was why we got all excited when we found out they were coming to town.
Yeah, for real.
So at first it started off as just a little 2-piece hip hop kind of thing to a backing track. Found out the band that played with them at Punk and Drublick was coming to town
Yeah.
to do a surprise
Yeah.
full band thing, and then
That's
it
awesome.
evolved from there. So then it just became a rager of a show, and I think
Definitely raging.
it was just it was one of I usually shoot pictures, and then I think I shot maybe 15 great shots, and then I videoed the whole thing because I wanted to see every part of that show. It was
Yeah,
just so
I get it.
high
I saw
energy.
some of the footage.
But it all came.
Yeah.
It came together really well. A lot of people that came for them And then a lot of people from here that didn't know them all kind of blended and like created one super group of the crowd. And
For sure. And I think the positive response of it was just a lot of new people that had never been there, like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And then a lot of the locals were just like, this is prop. And like, that's a great.
Yeah, I think a lot of people came up from Miami, some from up north, some
it's
from
an
the west.
interesting collection of people because it's kind of like punks, but it's also like hip hop kids too.
Yeah.
Indies,
it's like kids, metal kids, like so it's great.
A whole like perfect blend of things, and like I think a lot of people saw Prop for the first time this weekend, and you all held it down. Like bar was on point, like door was on point. There was no fights. Everything was peaceful. Nobody got their drinks late. Like everything went smooth, and I think people were like, "I'll be back."
It really worked out.
What's that band called where they have a completely insane break the fourth wall kind of live show, and they'll do things like get on people's shoulders and the drums go down
Degaju.
Yes.
Degaju, that's it.
Degaju.
So how do you feel about those shows? How many of you had of those?
Yeah, they light a fire
we've
inside
had
Prop.
we've had them we had them the first year. They lit a fire on top of their van outside. Yeah, I mean I seen that they did it inside at Respectables. I was like, holy shit, I mean, that's ballsy. Like like they didn't fly it in our place, but we had the fire extinguishers ready. They just went outside and did it, and it was something to. It was a sight to see. Yeah. It was really
do you
cool.
find as a venue owner something like that is like fun and interesting, or just like straight up liability?
Like insurance in my cup.
I mean, it starts with a conversation, right? It's like, how far is this going to go? And then until it feels like a liability, like how do we make this work without burning our place down? So yeah. But I mean,
because I always wondered stuff like that because. As someone who's really into music and enjoys a good time, it would seem really exciting. But then you're like, hang on, well, this is like my business.
Yeah. There's reason to worry. But I mean, we've safely had fire artists inside, part of like the kink shows that have twirled fire, spun fire, ate fire, and it seems to have been. I don't want to say safe, but it seemed. It looked safe, right? You're like, don't drop that thing. Like, whenever you're trolling, don't drop that, But it worked out. I think there's a limit of how far we could push things. And clearly, like, if it feels unsafe, then we're just not going to do it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Have you done much stuff like burlesque and stuff like that in it?
Yeah, we have. So we've recently brought back burlesque. We did a tiki night I want to say like weeks ago, probably the first week of February, and we had Surfer Joe out of Italy who was passing through, and a good friend Noel just like, hey, Surfer Joe's coming through. I think this would be a great opportunity. Yeah. Then we put this together. We pulled in, artists from Vatican that were doing cool stuff on site, and we had burlesque. Yeah, we had burlesque. Yeah. There was some
I love
skin getting tagged. But yeah, we had burlesque that night, and we've had burlesque a few nights throughout the previous months. But it's something like that you have to warm the community up to. I don't think there's like a big market for it. People don't understand it. It's not. It's not like strip. It's not like drag. It's just like its own art form. So like people I think we're trying to warm them up to that, and hopefully we can turn it into something that works for the artists themselves. It's for Pride weekend. We're gonna have the unofficial Pride after party at our bar for 2 days. So yeah, that is going to be the 23rd and the 24th.
Nice.
Each day has a list of performers that range from rapping to dancing to singing.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's very entertaining, not very drag centric, but more live performance from the queer community. So it's going to be pretty rad. So
yeah, wicked.
Yeah, so we try to get behind every community. I hate to say try. We would love to work with every community that wants to hit us up. We've done hip hop showcases. We have another that's coming up next month. So again, we try to just be an open door and just let Prop serve the community.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, awesome, man.
I think it's probably a good spot for us to listen to some ads. So we'll do that, and then we'll come back and just talk a little bit about what you got coming up at Prop.
Cool. Yeah.
Nice one. 561 Music and 561 Music Festival is sponsored by Stenger, Greene and Feiner. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and then I'm going to tell you how they're helping. So Stenger, Greene and Feiner is the personal injury law firm you can trust to provide the elite representation you deserve. As your trusted personal injury attorneys, you can count on them to fight for your rights from start to finish. They have affordable services. Professional legal aid shouldn't cost a fortune. That's why, with their injury lawyers, you don't pay a penny unless they win your case. Their team of personal injury attorneys has the resources and experience needed to litigate with big insurance companies and deliver the results you want, achieving maximum financial compensation to cover the cost of your accident-related injuries and damages, from medical bills and prescription medication to car repairs and lost wages. Whatever type of personal injury case you bring them, their injury lawyer team can handle it. If you can't visit one of their injury lawyer locations, don't sweat it. Their 100% virtual communication options enable them to handle your case without requiring an in-person visit. Getting the justice you deserve has never been easier. To be real, we're incredibly thankful for them because without them, we wouldn't be able to put the festival on. They have sponsored the festival, and it means that we can pay the bands. It means we can afford to advertise the festival so people know it's happening. And really, it just means we can do it. So the fact that they've reached out to us and they're helping out in the community, it means a huge amount to us. And we just want to extend our thanks to them. And it doesn't hurt that they're a great business as well. They are very easy to find online. Just go to www.injurylawyers.com. It's as simple as that, injurylawyers.com. So you'll be able to find them very easily. You won't be disappointed with their service. They're fantastic. Thank you so much, Stenger, Greene and Feiner. You really have made a difference for us, and you make a difference for a lot of people every day. Backsaver LLC Therapy is located in West Palm Beach, Florida, providing chiropractic care, massage therapy, and physical therapy. They are 561 Music sponsors, and they're helping us put this festival on. We couldn't be more grateful for them. They've done it before, and it's just a huge help. So if you have anything going on with your back in general and you need some chiropractic done, I don't know if that's how you say it, chiropractic. If you need a chiropractor, you could do a lot worse than Backsaver. They're absolutely a fantastic company. I know Hector's had some work done by them, and they do a fantastic job. If you've been hurt in a slip and fall accident, Backsaver LLC will help you with your injuries. The worst thing about slip and fall accidents is you never see them coming. The slip and fall itself can be frightening, and the injuries sustained can be detrimental. If you twist and fall in a bad or awkward position, your body will suffer the consequences. Injuries sustained in a slip and fall accident can be quite costly when it comes to paying medical professionals for treatments and pain relief. Backsaver LLC in West Palm Beach works to help patients recover quickly, physically, and also financially. It's one of those things that when you need it, you really need it. And if you don't think you need it, maybe you do. They're incredibly kind to sponsor the festival. Like I said before, we need all the help we can get putting this thing on. So thank you so much for sponsoring it and helping us with this podcast. We're just trying to bring local music to local people and build up the scene around here. And Backsaver's helping us do it. So thank you so much, guys. Give them a call today at 561-684-8774. That's 561-684-8774. Root. Now, Oasis Root Kava Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd. And it is a kava bar. If you don't know anything about kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water. And it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, that brings people together. You all take a shell of kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Route Kava Bar. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue. We can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. Outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there. All right, so we've just listened to an ad for Live Music Community. What we like to do after that is ask you guys, do you have any advice for young musicians? We kind of already covered it, but if you've got anything else that would be some good advice for young or just aspiring, doesn't have to be young musicians, people starting out.
Yeah, as a venue owner and just somebody that's part of the audience, for me, it's probably more of a personal preference where I want to be drowned by music and not really have to put up with too much personalities. But I get it. Sometimes that's like part of the act itself. But for aspiring, I really think the focus should be on the music and just focusing on being really tight and just getting from one song to the next and just like entertaining the crowd with your sound and really pulling them in and not really giving them much time to think about if they like it or not. I think they're going to love it by the time the show's over because there's just not enough moments to clap or even like talk amongst themselves. Just Ramones it out. Just go one song to the next. 100%. Just get to the end, and then everyone's just applauding, like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah, I see that with a lot of bands where they get up there and they're playing, and they play a 3.5 minute song, and then they take another 2 minutes between songs to get ready for the next song.
Pop disasters.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Hunter. I'm just saying.
Always have a set list.
Yeah,
we never done one, but you should have one.
We never have a set list.
I agree with that. When it just hits and hits and hits, it's a nice way to do it. And you're right, because the danger is with a new band that you might turn some people off just because they happen to not like you particularly as a human being. So you keep that, not even go into that.
Like hide that personality or you're famous, right? Like no one really wants to know. They just want to like listen to you be awesome. So just be awesome.
Yeah, totally. I think that's actually very good advice. And it's advice I try to follow myself. Every now and again, something will happen. Someone's got to tune up or something.
Yep.
And at which point it is good to have something to say that 100%. Isn't stupid. So
I get that.
That's something I've got a lot better at over the years. Is not awkward up there anymore. It might come off awkward, but I don't personally feel awkward because I've done it so many times.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying. It's just like kind of pretend just like you're talking to your friends or something when you're engaging a crowd. Like don't let there be awkward silence. When people start to question or look at their phones and see what time it is, like always keep them engaging. Always engage a crowd. Sure. Like if you're taking a break between a song because you have to figure out what's going on or retuning or something like that, make sure somebody is talking. Selling merch in between your songs is a great one. Telling people to go tip or something like that.
That's funny.
The guy who is very good at it is Mick. Mick is very good with it.
Is he now?
I just find him very charming. He has this thing. He managed to
For sure. No, I've learned a lot from him.
Ben's really good about talking between songs. If James is tuning up the banjo or something, he's talking and everything, and he's getting everybody going. Or he's talking about the next song or background about something or selling merch or whatever he's doing. Every once in a blue moon, Ben will break a string, and then Ben's over there trying to put the string on, and James and I are looking at each other like, now what?
I'm like, say something.
Yeah, he's over there.
Say
something.
You got to come up with something. How about them dolphins?
It sounds like he really needs to have like 5 banjos.
This is not a cello.
Yeah, we got to write you out a little script.
That I can memorize. That's what it is, man.
Like a little medley you play in between, like a kind of like a soundtrack to a game show or something.
Oh,
exactly.
That's actually
It doesn't happen that often anymore, but it does happen occasionally. And you're right, that is awkward, isn't it? We have to fix it.
Awkward.
Yeah.
I don't think fast on my feet, man. Yeah, like you were talking about, like being comfortable and not being awkward up there anymore. Where like I'm never feeling awkward until I make eye contact with somebody, and then I'm like, look away.
Yeah.
Like I feel awkward all of a sudden.
The way that I used to do it, I don't seem to worry about it anymore. But I kind of look at people without looking at people.
I was going to say.
I just kind of look through them almost.
Don't zone in on one. Don't focus. Keep it on a broad, like autofocus kind of thing, like to where you're seeing a room, not a person. Because as soon as you see a person, you see
a hard time. Like if I look in somebody's general direction and they look like they're smiling at us or something, I'm just like, oh God. I get weird.
Hawkeye over here, just looking into your soul.
It's just weird. Yeah, it's just like laser vision, man. It just weirds me out.
That's funny.
Play with my eyes closed from now on.
So what
Ray Charles had it easy. Sorry.
Right? He wasn't actually blind. That was just his shtick.
He just didn't want to engage with the crowd.
Right.
There we go. And we got the thing we're going to put at the beginning of the episode.
I don't always get it.
And there it is.
We went there.
So what have you got coming up at Prop? Is there anything that we should know about?
Yeah, we have an exciting week. This Thursday, we have the Underground, which is a electronic EDM partnership out of Miami that has put together a really nice event with everybody's favorite man, Danxiety.
Cool.
Nice.
So yeah, he'll be DJing this Thursday, so that's gonna be fantastic. And this Friday, it's gonna be a big one. We have Billy Doom is turning 39.
Oh my goodness, he's almost
Billy
dead.
Billy Boy is gonna have a big party there. We have Burn.
There's
Tiger
no way
Sunday.
he's only 4 years younger than me.
You are
The bastard.
Yeah, really good set of a really good bill of local talent. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. And then Saturday more amazing local. We have Root Television.
Oh, awesome. Love that.
Memory Well, Burning Glass, Father Figure. So a lot of cool things lined up this weekend. And
Wicked.
I mean, if you want to know what's going on at Prop, just check our IG and keep up to date with our Facebook. All of our events are pretty much a month in advance. We do the best we can. We're about 3 months booked out right now, and it's kind of just been a really good, consistent trend for us to be that well ahead and have the calendar full. So I would say go Facebook first just for all future bookings, and then for the weeklies every Monday, our IG we put out what's going on that week, what's going on the weekend. Yeah.
And what's the best way? Like if there's a band out there that's like absolutely dying to play a prop, like is there one way that's better than another to contact you? Should they
Personal
reach you?
cell phone number.
Right.
I'll give it to anybody that
Oh my
gets
God, that has happened.
I mean,
Like,
Facebook
people start
message or Instagram
passing out
message, or is there an email?
Send a
my
pigeon.
cell number. Yeah. That has happened. People started passing out my cell number. I'm like, hey, I'm this person in this band. We really want to play. I'm like, all right, cool. So
Don't ever call
go
this
to
number again.
Instagram. We have a link there for booking. That's the best way. Or you can just directly hit us up in IG. I mean, follow us first, because that's the thing, right? If we don't follow us, then it just goes to like this weird spammy little inbox. But if you follow us and send us a message, we respond within 24 hours. So I'd say that's probably the fastest way. Social's king right now. Emails as well. Bookings at propagandalakeworth.com. It's a long one. Or you can hit us up at properpunch@gmail.com.
Yeah, there's people it's funny, there's people I know really well these days, like, that I only have their Facebook and Instagram. Like, I don't feel like I need to have their phone number. You know?
Don't anymore, Like, you called me today on Messenger.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it works just fine.
It works out, Keeps away the stalkers.
No, absolutely. What are we?
Their messages like 3
got
weeks
like
later,
one
like
this
I booked
weekend.
a flight to New York. You're coming, right? I'm like, oh shit.
we should have a little bit. Seeing as you're here,
Transition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since
Pivot.
we had Hunter on last, Nina's Yard Party, which is us three,
Yeah.
And Ricky.
and Ricky, and
Oh, yeah, that guy.
a whole bunch of other people, but we're kind of like the core of it, are going to Brooklyn on April 16th and going to go and play a gig. We also have a gig on March 24th.
Oh yeah.
As like a warm-up gig. So basically a new ska band, which is just born out of me and Ricky having a conversation where I said I wanted to make some old school ska, and then the next day sending him a bunch of songs that just came out of me just woof in like one day.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now I'm super grateful to have some killer musicians on our side, and we're gonna go do it. Just start becoming a
nice.
thing.
It's going to be the longest
That's
tour
exciting.
I've ever been on, man.
Yeah,
One
so-
show, 22 hours in New York.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, New York. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and we get to see my old homies. Sonic Boom Sixer is going to be so fun and exciting.
Yeah,
I can't
Excited
wait.
to meet him.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
totally.
I've heard so much about them for like the last 3.5 years. Or whatever.
I know,
I'm
right?
dying to meet them now.
Yeah, and they're so good too. They're gonna.
I'm
they're
stoked. It's my first time ever playing New York, so I'm excited about
Really?
it.
Nice.
Oh hell yeah!
Nice.
That is awesome.
Yep.
That makes
Yeah.
me really happy.
Yep. Played all the way out to California, never up the East Coast. Though.
Wow.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's changed it all.
Looking
That
forward
makes
to
it.
it.
That's
Is it
super
cold there
cool.
this time of year?
It's not cold there this time of year. Let's put it that way. It could go either way in April, actually. It could be blazing hot or it could be really
warming
cold.
up for sure.
'Cause I'm a Florida reptilian. I'm not going to do well up there. If it's cold.
No, I feel you. It is pretty chilly this time of year. It'll go through you. Make sure you wear some kind of jacket, maybe even a scarf.
Oh, I got a Marv, bro.
Yeah, I believe it.
Dude, it's a ska
There's no
band.
way you don't have a scarf.
Oh, I got a scarf.
It's a ska band, man. I'm wearing a three-piece
There was a
suit.
whole trending thing going on about my scarf a couple years ago.
That's right. I remember.
Yeah, Marv weather.
Yeah.
Man scarf.
I feel like the scarf. The Marf is coming. We have on Friday, March 1st. We have Evergreen, which is like a neighborhood development.
Yeah, it's a published garden. It's a private community, and they have a big tiki bar by the pool, and they throw like these Friday party things, and so we're gonna be the band there that night.
Yeah, we have
Alright.
fun at that, and you did all of the artwork in there.
I did. They have a big mural inside the tiki, and then they have another big mural on the outside of the tiki, and I've done both of those, which was kind of cool. So
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool. You go to these places and play them, and it's like, oh, Hector's like, I did that.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's your plug.
I'm like a 5-year-old though. I'm
You,
like,
you
I did
lost
that.
the club promoter.
As you
Now you're
should do.
dealing with the
Get
art
excited.
vendor that gets you into all these places.
I'm saying it's been working very well.
That's actually how that worked. She called me up. I put a bid in for the mural. The first mural. I got awarded the mural. I went and did it, and then through conversation, she was talking about bands, and I'm like, oh, I'm in a band, and then I said Killbillies. She's like, oh, I've heard of Killbillies, and the next thing I know, we were getting booked. So.
Yeah, no, like,
He's always got an in.
Hector has done wonders for business. I'll tell you what. It's great having him around. So on Saturday, March 2nd, we're playing Square Grouper from 3 to 6, and then we're playing Carson's Tavern from 9 to midnight. Carson's Tavern's in Stewart.
It's always crazy there, man.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I missed the last one because I was out of town, so I'm looking forward to going.
There's something in the water. In that
It's
place.
something, man. I don't know what it is. People are nuts there, but like in
Yeah.
a fun way.
Totally.
And I was just telling somebody the other day because we had a really fun show at O'Shea's last Friday.
Yeah.
And so I was telling somebody, they were asking me how the show went, and I said, there's shows where we play and we're the entertainment, and that's that, and we enjoy it. But there are shows where we're the entertainment, but we're also being entertained by just a fun, crazy crowd, and I love those shows.
That's what
those are
I
the
feel like
best
that's what
shows.
shows
I had
should
two
be.
of those
That's
on
like-
Saturday.
It's
Really?
like
Well, I mean,
reciprocation.
one was being entertained, and the other one's being entertainment. So
Oh, sick.
always seeing fun both
Yeah.
sides of it.
That's awesome. So no, you're right. That energy exchange is really that's really why I do it.
Yes.
Like when that happens, when you get that moment where the energy's going back and forth,
Yeah.
That's
Makes up
100%
for the
why.
first gig they tell you to turn down, and the second gig they tell you to turn up. So it's
Yeah.
Balances out.
Totally, man. So that's that. That's what we got coming up. And do you want to have a little bit of a chat about? So it's kind of become traditional that it's your job to talk about the festival. So
Yeah,
let's get on there.
yeah, we'll do it. 561 Music Festival. If you haven't heard about it yet, this is the third one, and you probably live under a rock because everybody knows about 561 Music Festival. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And we may have to talk to Prop about
official after party.
Official after party or something.
Yeah, we're down.
Yeah.
There
We'll talk.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So 20 bands, $10. I mean, it doesn't get any freaking cheaper than that, man. 20 bands, $10. 2 stages. Of course, Matthews has their scratch kitchen, so there's plenty of food available.
Nice.
They have all their beers on tap and stuff. You can get a ticket shirt combo, so you can basically get for $25 you can get a ticket and a shirt, as opposed to paying the $10 for the ticket at the door and then buying a shirt for $25. So you'll basically get a free ticket if you buy a shirt up front. It's Saturday, March 30th, starts at 12 noon, ends at about 11 p.m. ish, roughly. Sometimes it goes a little later. 561musicfest.com is your tickets. And the lineup: Lab Scam, Young Fiction, Killbillies, 33 Lions, The Little Things Duo, Suicide Bombers, At the Starlight, Exogen Band, Mad Mellow Music, Bear Maze. Although Bear Maze is a great name too. Yeah. Bear Maze, Killed by Florida, Butch and the Fat Dubes, Bitter Blue Jays, The Zoo Peculiar, Mount Sinai, Andy Styron, Smoke Bosch Militia, Billy Doom is Dead, Brayton, and Ambush. It's just a killer lineup. We've had 2 amazing festivals, and then this one is like hands down probably the best one now.
I can't wait.
Nice.
Number 3. I can't wait.
And of course, got to thank all of our sponsors that make this happen for us, which is Oasis Root and Kava, Live Music Community, Galliano Family Salon, Raincat Recording Studios, the Shirt Series, Backsavers Chiropractic, Law Offices of Stenger, Greene and Feiner, Matthews Brewing, of course, for hosting, and Pure Honey Magazine.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Definitely. Of course. It's been a pleasure.
Been an absolute pleasure, and nice to look under the hood a little bit and see how Prop's getting on. So to hear it from the horse's mouth.
You want to join his band?
It does sound dirty, doesn't it?
All right. See you later.
See you later.
Take a better scene.